In this episode, I enjoyed the simplest things. Make sudden realizations.
Yep, this definitely has 60 newton-meters.
And Carlos drives a Lando.
Opa! You know, Lando, I'm sort of missing this. Sort of. Vamos, jamón.
Hello fellow tarmac lovers, Matthew here. You know what's good? Competition. And as of lately, we're not lacking any of it in the sim racing gear universe, especially when it comes to wheelbases. The direct drive offering, which has experienced such a boom that even Logitech stepped into the ring with their model. Yeah, I thought I was dreaming, actually. And even more is yet to come. Yes, I'm thinking of you, Thrustmaster. Come on, hurry up, let's go. Everyone is already at the party on their third drink and stuff in their mouths with those teeny tiny sandwiches. And you're all like trying to be all fashionably late and stuff. Anyhow, in that whirlwind of new gear dropping down so fast that even Latifi would see it from a mile away, a completely new brand arose and entered the ring. Moza Racing. I'll just call them Moza, it's shorter. Today I have one of their highest tier model, the R16, and I've been playing with it for the better part of this year, so I can deliver you this content. Before I continue, I've noticed that a lot of you watching my videos aren't actually subscribed, so consider doing that because I do a lot of sim racing content intertwined with PC and other hardware related topics. It really helps me out a lot. Honestly, I think that we were all in shock when Moza came out blazing with their R16 and R21 model and the pedal set, then R9 and quickly R5 wheelbase models. It wasn't something you would expect from a new player, that kind of an outburst of offering, more so since they did all of that in like less than a year span, and seeing and comparing that outcome with some other brands, knowing how they go about releasing their new products, it means that Moza was cooking something in the background for some time now. And as it seems, they are using the right ingredients and recipes. Right away they looked mature in what they were doing, presenting and delivering, from the design to build quality. From that general first look, you could feel the presence of someone experienced handling this project, and it turned out to be true, yes, they do have a background. Their partner slash sister company, that is Goodson, has been in the business for some time now, dealing with professional and consumer level gimbals. So I guess they've decided to expand their business strategy. It maybe looks like a bit of a weird market segue from gimbals to sim racing gear, but for Moza it seems to be the right call. As you'll now see, it turned out to be a prime example of what you would get when you would to observe, take notes, improve on mistakes that others made, and minimize your own. It's basically that easy. So others, yeah, do what Moza did. Take notes, please. And most importantly, listen to the community. Simple, no? Here I have the R16 wheel and this beefy RS Racing leather wheel model, which, let me just pull this one out, which looks and feels like something pulled out of a real GT racing car. Tricked out with these rotary dials, switches, little joysticks, LED shifter indicator, and of course, flappy pedals, which are actually carbon fiber and really loud. We also have the clutch pedals. The weight of it, everything just screams, hey, we really put some thought and effort into it. But the thing that stood out the most was this. Yeah, it's not on the front of the wheel, but rather on the back of it. The quick release mechanism. It's just plain good, really good. Almost you can use it in a, again, real GT car good. Probably the best from everything I've tried so far. It goes on and off like a butter on a freshly burned out toast, and you won't hit yourself in the head when pulling it off. Most importantly, there's also zero play in the locking mechanism of it and the wheelbase. It's as stiff as it can be. Let's get this beefy boy back onto the wheelbase. Click, click, click. Of course, the wheel is just a minor part in the whole experience. I did enjoy using it, although it's on the larger side from what I usually use, but this is where the wheelbase takes over the bigger part of the task, making you feel you're controlling something really serious behind the wheel shaft. And I'm happy to report that it does so in a way it's easily comparable to the likes of any other $1,000 plus direct drive wheelbase models on the market. In this custom-made motor case, Moza placed a brushless motor capable of delivering up to 60 Nm with this black and orange model variation, while the fully black model can deliver up to 21 Nm, hence the R21 in its model naming. If you're wondering if 60 Nm is enough torque, let me just say it outright, yes it is, more than enough, and it wasn't too overpowering for my track racer TR160 rig that I have here behind me. Feel free to check it out later. It was rather interesting to see how they progressed in creating and updating this model. Out of the box, the R16 is extremely smooth. There was no cogging or notchiness that I could feel when turning the wheel. Putting in a couple of hundred laps between getting the wheel and this point, I could say that this experience was extremely impressive, bearing in mind that this was their first in this segment marketed product ever. There are a few points of potential improvements, and here I'm mostly comparing it to my Simucube 2 Pro since it's the highest end model I own. You can check out my review of it here, which mostly boils down to how it deals and feedbacks when it comes to response time in those more sudden direction changes. I'm talking about the truly minor differences here, nothing to be greatly bothered about, especially if you're coming from a non-direct drive wheelbase. On the other hand, the performance consistency in games, or maybe to say is of tuning it and getting the same force feedback result in games, was pretty decent across the board. Nothing I can complain about, more so with knowing that this is something you'll always need to do, jumping from game to game, and especially in my case when having to try different wheelbase from time to time. The road texture and feel I got from it was exceptional. In some cases it was a bit more emphasized, but nothing you couldn't dial in. And in the end, it's expected from you going from title to title, as each of them interpret and deliver the force feedback differently. But bottom line is that it managed to deliver a same car feel, for a lack of a better phrase, across the board. Oh, and if you're wondering why are my feet looking so happy on this pedal set that I'm using, well, it's because this is the Asetek Invictus model, and I can tell you that they are truly something different, as this is my first time trying a proper hydraulic-based brake system. Be sure to subscribe, I'll have a lot to talk about this one. As with any other direct drive wheel, since the wheel is free spinning into infinity, it's obvious that there's no wired connection in the wheelbase, so you're probably wondering how the wheel and the wheelbase are actually connected. We have two things happening here. The way the wheel is powered with using magnetic induction, similar to what we today have for wireless smartphone charging, or as they call it, Qi charging, while the data is being transferred using a simple wireless connection, and it does its job in a way I couldn't say anything other than it just worked. No issues whatsoever, even with being surrounded by multiple wireless devices and Unify access points. Mystery solved, on to another one. So with everything being more than good on the hardware side, we have one unanswered question left: software. I remember opening it up for the first time with a fearful face grin, but once again I was pleasantly surprised.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
There were some bugs here and there in the beginning, some mismatches in translations. Still, everything considered, it got a well above passing score, especially as time passed by. They proved to be on top with constant updates, being it on the software side or wheelbase and wheel side. The interface is clean and simple, not intimidating, definitely a move away from what we usually see in this segment, more on the user-friendly side. There are a couple of preset settings depending on the type of car you're planning to drive, and that does its job really well, but if you're a person who likes to fiddle with settings and take control into your hands, you can do that too, as they've also included those more advanced controls. Of course, here you can also fiddle with settings for the wheel that you're using, and beside that, from other features, you'll also have an option to configure the wheel to the game in question with one click. So everything is good to go from the moment you launch the game, and you can also do that from the Moza Pit House. Well, what else is there for Moza to do now that they seem to have more than a decent start? First, I would say set up and establish a good partner and distribution network in EU and USA, that's a must, and it seems like they've been already doing that by looking at their webshop. Secondly, as mentioned earlier, to have a rapport with their community when it comes to polishing out any of the software or hardware related problems, generally speaking a good customer support. I'm already seeing some positive feedback on that matter, but do let me know if you had some experience with Moza in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I'll also forward them any of your questions or concerns that you may have. Lastly, they need to expand their offering with other models, and well, they're already doing that with their R9 and R5 wheelbase, pedal and wheel rims offering. I'm loving their open wheeler F1 style FSR model. I'm hoping to have a chance to try everything or most of it out down the line, so I can compare it with the likes of Fanatec DD and other mid-tier models and help you out with your next irrational purchasing decision. No, that's not me thinking it's irrational. I completely approve it. It's everyone else around you who think that it is. I know how you feel. That's why I use this magic spell, Ignorius Maximus. It works sometimes. You just need to cast it real good. Coupled with a good pair of these. Thanks for watching and staying this long. Drop a like if you did and if this helped you, and be sure to subscribe and give me a follow or a click on those social media thingy things, because I have plenty of more content down the line and the pipeline. Yes, I do. Okay, bye.